When you were a kid at school, nothing beat the moment you could finally crack open your lunchbox and see what awesome treats your parents packed away for you. Or which ones you snuck in there yourself when they weren't looking. But while those lunchbox snacks were always a delight, they weren't always healthy. In fact, several could be called delicious, slow-acting poisons. Which is why, today we're going to take a look at our favorite lunchbox snacks that were trying to kill us. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other snack foods you would like to hear about. Okay, does anybody want to trade for some pretzel sticks? We'd love to be able to tell you that Twinkies were invented by that anthropomorphic Twinkie who wears a cowboy hat and appears on the boxes, but it was actually some Canadian guy. His name was James Alexander Dewar, and in 1930, he worked for the Continental Baking Company, which made cream-filled strawberry shortcakes. When strawberries were out of season, however, those machines just sat around doing nothing, and no machine wants that. Dewar's solution was a banana cream-filled sponge cake called a Twinkie. The banana connection, incidentally, is why Twinkies are yellow, and the name Twinkies was inspired by a billboard advertising a product called Twinkle Toe Shoes. Apparently, he was just picking things he could see from his office. Twinkies got off to a strong start, but due to World War II, bananas started being rationed. So the cream filling was changed to vanilla. And bam! The Twinkie as we know it was born. A short-lived fruit and cream version with strawberry filling was released in 1988, and in 2007, Hostess revived the original banana flavor, or something pretty close to it at least. There's even a version with chocolate sponge cake, but vanilla Twinkies have always been the dominant favorite. Legend has it that Twinkies contain so many chemicals and preservatives, they have a virtually infinite shelf life. But according to the company, it's really a maximum of about 45 days. That sounds like a dare. That being said, there are a lot of chemicals in a Twinkie, and they're not particularly good for you. A package of Twinkies contains 270 calories, 9 grams of fat, half of which is saturated fat, 360 milligrams of sodium, which is 15% of your entire recommended daily allowance, and a jaw-dropping 33 grams of sugar. For the record, consumption of sugar has been linked to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, and any of those conditions are potentially deadly. Yes, there is a little bit of calcium and iron in there too, but for the most part, Twinkies are devoid of any beneficial nutrients or vitamins. In other words, Twinkies are just a sugar delivery system, and despite all those chemicals, they don't actually last all that long. Maybe that's why Twinkie the Kid never grows up. Dunkaroos are cookies that you dip in frosting. Each package contains roughly a dozen cookies and a square inch of frosting, and then the dipping part is up to you. It's kind of like someone looked at one of those packaged cheese and crackers snack kits and made a child's wish. Betty Crocker started making Dunkaroos way back in 1990, and the original advertising featured a wacky cartoon kangaroo named Sydney, who wore a bush hat and spoke with an Australian accent. Sydney, for the record, was voiced by John Cameron Mitchell, the writer, director, and star of the 2001 film Hedwig and the Angry Inch. That's not super relevant to this discussion, but it's a worthy shout-out. He got the job done, and Dunkaroos soared in popularity. The cookies in Dunkaroos came in flavors like chocolate, vanilla, graham, and chocolate chip graham. The frosting came in chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla rainbow sprinkle, and it was all wildly unhealthy. A package of chocolate chip cookie Dunkaroos with chocolate frosting packed 120 calories, 4.5 grams of fat, and 13 grams of sugar. That may not sound like a lot, but the American Heart Association recommends children between 2 and 18 years of age limit their daily sugar intake to 25 grams. So that one package of Dunkaroos already accounts for more than half of that. You hear that, parents? No more than 2 packages of Dunkaroos per day. The brand was discontinued in 2012, but in 2020, a new version with less sugar started showing up on the shelves of supermarkets and convenience stores as if nothing ever happened. Betty Crocker didn't just have the bright idea to dunk cookies into frosting, they also invented fruit Gushers, the messiest, most inexcusably unhealthy snack you can stuff into a lunchbox. Next to the Dunkaroos, of course. Also known simply as Gushers, these soft and chewy fruit snacks have a licorice-like exterior and fruit juice at their center. They've been on the market since 1991, and they initially came in boxes which contained 6 pouches of Gushers, each of which held 9 gummies that would immediately leak all over your hands the instant instant you opened them up. Gushers initially came in two flavors, Gushin' Grape and Strawberry Splash. And thanks to some seriously bizarre commercials that suggested eating Gushers would turn your head into a giant piece of fruit with a face on it, they became a huge hit with the kiddies. Over the years, dozens of new flavors were added, including stuff like Fruit Fusion, Extreme Kiwi Explosion, Robo Berry Ultra Blast, and Watermelon Blast, which the manufacturer claims is the single most popular flavor. The manufacturer also claims Fruit Gushers are vegan-friendly, gluten-free, and contain no artificial flavoring. The first two seem to be true, but that last one resulted in a 2022 class action lawsuit claiming the candy contained the artificial flavor D-L-malic acid. As far as one can tell, that suit is still pending, but regardless of the outcome, Fruit Gushers should not be considered healthy on any meaningful level. They're barely even fruit snacks. They're like little Trojan horses full of corn syrup, which is why they held serious value in lunch table trades. Betty Crocker is going to get inside that lunchbox one way or another. And for a time, one of the most popular ways was with fruit roll-ups. Fruit roll-ups are Betty's imitation of Joray fruit rolls, an apricot-based fruit snack created by Louis Shaloub in the 1960s. Shaloub was the son of Lebanese immigrants, and fruit rolls, which belonged to a family of candies known as fruit leather, were based on a Middle Eastern confection called amardine. Fruit roll-ups hit the market in 1983, and they originally came in strawberry, apple, apricot, and cherry. Now they come in about a zillion flavors. And according to our research, the most popular are tropical tie-dye, blastin' blue and blastin' green, and good old strawberry. And speaking of strawberry, fruit roll-ups were initially marketed as a nutritious snack made with real fruit. But in 2011, the Center for Science and the Public Interest hit the manufacturer with a lawsuit alleging that the real fruit claims were bogus, and fruit roll-ups were actually no healthier than gummy bears. The lawsuit, which only specified the strawberry variety, was settled out of court in 2014, and Betty Crocker agreed to roll back some of the health-based hype for that particular flavor. But the truth is that all of the flavors are unhealthy. The main ingredient in a fruit roll-up is sugar, and each one contains almost 7 grams worth. Fruit roll-ups do include some fruit juice, but their nutritional and fiber content is pretty much insignificant compared to the sugar content. If you saw the Weird History video, Was Little Debbie a Real Person? Then you already know that she is, in fact, real. Her name is Debbie McKee Fowler, and she's the granddaughter of the brand's founder, O.D. and Ruth McKee. That's her picture on the box. The Little Debbie brand has been cranking out classic treats since the 1960s, including oatmeal cream pies, Star Crunches, and the Nutty Buddy. The Nutty Buddy, which is 4 cookie wafers cemented together with a peanut butter-like filling and then coated in chocolate, goes back to 1959. Since then, there have been some seasonal varieties like the Red, White, and Blue Nutty Buddy and the Be My Valentine Nutty Buddy, but the original classic remains the popular favorite. Nutty Buddies contain dextrose, enriched flour, peanut butter, sugar, palm and soybean oils, and a whole bunch of other delicious ingredients we're pretty sure your doctor will encourage you to avoid. They're highly processed and swimming in additives and preservatives, including one called tertiary butyl hydroquinone, or TBHQ, which has been linked to vision problems, neurotoxic effects, liver enlargement, convulsion, and even paralysis. And that's if you don't have a peanut allergy. A package of 2 Nutty Buddies will send you back 470 calories for the day, which is almost as much as a Big Mac. On top of that, it contains 64% of your recommended daily allowance of sugar and 60% of your recommended daily allowance of saturated fat. In other words, if you want to stick around as long as Little Debbie herself, you should probably pack some sugar-free Oreos or something instead. So what do you think? Which of these lunchbox snacks were your favorites? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other Weird History food videos.